Very good evening to all of you. On behalf of Committee for Members in Practice of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, I welcome you all in this VCM on Excel as well as GST. Today we are having with us two eminent speakers, CA Vijay Agarwal ji as well as Advocate Bhomik Gupta ji. Vijay Agarwal ji, welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Bhomik ji, my pleasure, sir. Advocate sir is also with us. Shobik sir is also with us. Welcome to you, Shobik ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So first we will start with the Excel, in which Vijay Agarwal sir will like to take up today VLOOKUP to XLOOKUP, as there are so many changes. So today we will Vijay Agarwal sir will apprise all of us on XLOOKUP, and after in the later half, Advocate Shobik ji will apprise all of us on powers of DDGI to undertake proceedings in GST and arrest and proceedings under GST. So first we will start with Vijay ji. So it is my proud privilege to share with you the brief profile of Vijay Agarwal ji. Vijay Agarwal ji is a big data analyst and automation expert. He is a chartered accountant and company secretary with 27 years of experience. Currently, he is a freelancer providing MS Excel solutions and trainings to the corporate, institutes and automating processing by using Excel and BI tools. Also do PowerPoint training also. He is a master Microsoft awarded most valuable professional, awarded for 4 years consecutively from 2014 to 2018, less than 100 MPVs in the world. Previously, he has worked with Telenor, Cape Gemini, Aircel, Hug Software, Jindal, as well as Havells. He is a faculty for Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, Forensic Audit and Fraud Detection FAFD program. He has a website and YouTube channel with a brand name Champ Excel. He is running his this website under the name of Champ Excel, which is predictable on his screen.
Thank you.
He has apprised all the chartered accountants in various Excel seminars, and we have gained a lot through his expertise on Excel. During the COVID-19 lockdown days, he has did lot of live webinars for Institute of Chartered Accountant, Northern India Regional Council, SIRC, Institute of Company Secretaries, various study circles, ICAI Dubai, ICAI Kuwait, other federations where more than 1,000 of CA and CAs and company secretaries have attended. He had 3 webinars for ICAI in 2016, each one attended by more than 2,000 chartered accountants. If we talk about the corporate groups, he had more than 200 workshops for various corporate sectors also. For ICAI Faridabad, he has done more than 25 seminars. ICAI North India branches like Gurgaon, Amritsar, Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Shimla, Karnal, Hisar. I hope there is no branch in the Northern India where he has not visited and apprised all our chartered accountants. And still list is long and long and long. So on behalf of CMP of ICAI, I again welcome you, sir. Welcome you, sir. We have with us Advocate Shobik Gupta ji. He is an advocate by practice. He is law graduate from Delhi University 2013. He has around 80 years of experience in indirect taxes covering VAT, sales tax, service tax, central excise and entry tax and GST. He has extensively handled advisory as well as the litigation matters in indirect taxes. He has also handled litigation and advisory assignments relating to direct taxes and commercial laws such as arbitration, consumer protection, contracts, real estate. Besides, he has also handled civil and criminal litigation matters. He has represented clients before quasi-judicial authorities, tribunals, and High Court. Welcome to you too, sir, Advocate.
Thank you, sir.
Advocate Shobik Gupta ji.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of CMP of ICAI, I extend my heartiest welcome to both the guest speakers.
Thank you, sir.
In order to start with our today's session, so I request Vijay sir to start his deliberation and enlighten all of us on various intricacies of VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. Vijay sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anilji, for such a warm and enthusiastic welcome. And really, I'm very thankful for the Committee for Members in Practice for giving me such opportunities, and I'm able to share my knowledge, whatever Excel little bit I know. So really, friends, it's great to interact with all of you. And today's topic, so that's a very fantastic topic. So like VLOOKUP to XLOOKUP. Like I'll say like VLOOKUP out and XLOOKUP in, right? So like XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, like whatever problems actually we used to face with VLOOKUP, so all those problems have been taken care by Microsoft. So XLOOKUP is part of Microsoft 365, sir, friends. So for XLOOKUP, you need to have Microsoft 365. Otherwise, you'll not able to work on this XLOOKUP. So before I'm going to start this XLOOKUP, so I'll also give example like earlier, how we used to do with VLOOKUP, what were the problems, and in XLOOKUP, how those problems have been taken care. And also I want like if some of you like can be part, so Anilji, like is it possible like maybe 1 or 2 member, so they also like come on screen as a moderator, so it would be great. So if that's possible. So let me share my screen, friends, with you. Because in between, like if 1 or 2 screens are open and they know little Excel, so it's always I feel that okay, I'm not alone. So like I'm having like you are also representing a lot of my friends. So are we able to see my screen, Anilji?
Sir, अभी screen नहीं आई. You're not your presentation. Yes, visible, sir. Visible. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay, okay.
I am here with you, sir.
Great, great. Thank you, thank you.
Ji, sir. Please.
So, friends, VLOOKUP, like earlier, like people used to say that VLOOKUP, like, or maybe even today, like VLOOKUP is like synonymous to Excel. So, like whenever we are talking about Excel, like if somebody like we are asking that okay, whether you know Excel, whether how much Excel you know, so everyone like say that yes, sir, I'm good in Excel. I know VLOOKUP also. So that's the thing actually. Generally, like people, so they feel that okay, we know the Excel. So now, like how to see that okay, but in VLOOKUP we used to have lot of problems. So let me see how to take care all those problems. So first thing, like in case when we are going to move to the XLOOKUP, whether that is like VLOOKUP, like is it depth for VLOOKUP? And friends, one more thing, like in case of XLOOKUP, all these formulas are possible with XLOOKUP, only single formula. So now no need for VLOOKUP, no need for HLOOKUP, no need for match index. Earlier we used to have combination of match and index. So that also we don't need. Lookup formula also don't need. And if error, like in case while having this VLOOKUP, we used to have the errors. So those errors also we can avoid. So earlier we used to have the if error formula. But now with XLOOKUP, there is no need for if error formula also. So like if people say that, okay, are they all formulas are dead? No, still we can use them. Maybe we can discuss it later. But yes, like with XLOOKUP, at least like these formulas, like for the timing, like we can avoid. So now let's see, like in XLOOKUP, how this is going to work. What are, because only single formula we are going to discuss. So little we will try to deep dive in this formula. So in this formula, there are 6 arguments. Like when we have this XLOOKUP formula, like when I type here, like XLOOKUP, and here in XLOOKUP, when I go to my screen and see that, okay, here, like how many arguments are there? So in VLOOKUP, we used to have 4 arguments, right, friends? But now with XLOOKUP, we are having 6 arguments. But out of 6 arguments, friends, we are having only 3 arguments which are like mandatory. So other 3 arguments are not mandatory. So it can be used as per need basis. So one argument has been reduced like compared to VLOOKUP. So the first argument here we are going to have lookup value, The second argument we are going to have lookup array, and the third argument which we are going to have, that is return array. So three arguments we are going to have now. So let's see how these arguments are going to work here. And I'm having a lot of topics, different things actually I'm going to cover. So when I'm going to give you examples, then only you will be able to understand. So let's take very basic example of VLOOKUP, and then we will see what are the problems in chat box. You can write. Anilji, we can have the questions or something if they want to share in chat box.
Sir, I will share with you time to time. As soon as I will receive, I will share with you, sir. In between.
Okay, in between you will be sharing
or you will suggest I will share at the end at 4:50.
No, but in between, actually, I would like to ask some questions. So I would need answer for those questions, immediately. So if that's possible, so maybe immediately, if we can have some.
Immediately, if you permit, if there will be any question, then I will ask you.
Okay. So I'll be asking. So friends, see, in case of VLOOKUP, I'm having some data. Right now, I'm having this data. So here in this data, I'm having student marks. Okay. Then student code is there and student marks is there. So now here I want to find out the Deepak's marks from this database. So right now my database is also here, and my reporting point, my reports, so that is also part here. So this is my database and this is my report. Here I want to find the value of Deepak. So here what the formula, my traditional formula is VLOOKUP equal to VLOOKUP, and there are four arguments we used to give here. So the first argument was lookup value. Lookup value was there that I want to find Deepak. That was my first argument. Which array? What is the database from where I want to find this value? That value is this is the database where I want to find the value, right? So I have selected all these three columns. Now I want to find, I have to do the fix also, so that when I'm going to dragging, so here this range I have to make absolutes. So that's why I have pressed F4 and $sign. Now the column index number. Column index number was if my name is first column, code is second column, and marks is third column. So I want to find third column, that is column index number. This one I want to find, friends. And then range lookup. Range lookup was always, it was approximate, it was not approximate match, it was exact match. So here we used to have always false. Either I can write false or I can write 0. So this was the traditional, earlier I used to have in VLOOKUP. Friends, I'm sure this all of you remember and you are using this VLOOKUP. So these are the four arguments. First is Deepak, what I want to find, range from where I want to find, which column, index of the column which I want to find, first, second and third, and fourth was whether it is approximate match or exact match. So 99% we used to find exact match only. So that's why in fourth argument always it was 0. So now I got the marks of 64 from Deepak. If I'm going to drag it down, I'm going to find the value of Aditya also, Manish also, and it's working perfectly fine. But in case if I'm going to put here Vijay, now I'm going to get the error because Vijay is not part of this database. Right, friends? So here, what is the biggest problem of VLOOKUP? Can you tell me one or two examples, friends? What is the problem of VLOOKUP? VLOOKUP, what are the problems? Can you tell me, friends? Yes, please let me know. Are we getting? Any questions? Any answers? Anilji?
No question answer, sir.
No, are we getting some response? Actually, I want to ask from members like what was the like biggest like issues or VLOOKUP. So in case of VLOOKUP, what were the problems? So are we getting some response?
No, there is no question still, sir. There is no query. There is no query till now, sir.
No, in chat box like whether
Chat box also there is no query, sir.
Okay. Right. So maybe otherwise like there are so many members, so definitely like we would be receiving lot of response. So maybe like it's not like 100% like online. So that's why like maybe we are not getting the like response. Anyway, friends, let's see. So here like I'm saying that okay, we are so in case we look up the problems were there, it was always from left to right. Always it was from left to right. Right, friends? So like in case my database like marks, like if I'm having not this side, like if I'm having marks this side, what will happen? Everything is 0. So that was the biggest problem. Like my lookup value that should be in the left side. That was the requirement. So this was the biggest problem. The second problem was there, like in case if I'm going to insert some columns, like if I'm going to insert some columns, like I have inserted some columns, right, friends? So here now my results are, I'm going to get, friends, just 0 value, the same value like I'm getting, right? So again, now to find the correct answer, instead of 3, I have to mention 5 here. Then only I'll be getting the correct results. So now I'm going to get the correct results. So these were the 2 like very big problems. That first, VLOOKUP always works from left to right? And to give the column reference number, column index number. So in case we are going to increase the column in between the database, or we are going to decrease the columns, so then we are not going to get the results correctly. So that was the issue. Now, friends, with the XLOOKUP, there is no problem with the left to right. So that it is going to work perfectly fine. Right, friends? Whether right to left or left to right, whether we are going to insert columns or whether we are going to delete columns, that also it is going to work. So let's see. Now I have put here the earlier thing, same thing like this was the VLOOKUP. Now the same formula I am going to get with same results XLOOKUP. So this is XLOOKUP now. So here I have put XLOOKUP. So in case of XLOOKUP, again the first argument is the same which we were having in VLOOKUP. So here I am saying that okay, first argument, then I am going to put comma. Which column I want to find, from which column? So earlier we used to give the total range, but here we need to give only single column, like from where we want to find out. So my single column is, let's see that my single column is this one, that okay, first column. So I have given the range. Now from which column we want to find out? So I have given that okay, this is the column from where I want to find the result. So these 3 arguments only we require. There is no fourth argument. Now I am going to give this, put enter. Same result I am going to get with XLOOKUP also. So by this point, XLOOKUP is also giving the same result and VLOOKUP is also giving the same result. Now see the magic of XLOOKUP, magic of Microsoft 365. So now suppose like I'm having this marks Control X and I'm going to put left side of name. Now you see in my VLOOKUP I'm getting 0. but my X lookup is still giving the correct results. So whether we want to find right to left or left to right, my X lookup is going to work like perfectly fine. Control Z, again, I have come here. The second case, in case I am going to insert columns, like let's insert some columns, like I have inserted 2 columns. So here, again, let's see. Here, my VLOOKUP value, those are zeros. Because here now, it is looking for third column. First column, second column, third column. So it is giving me third column because it is blank. That's why it is giving me 0. But for XLOOKUP, friends, you see, still I am getting the correct results. So there is no worry. So both these problems which we were facing for years, like from starting, like till we got this XLOOKUP, these problems everyone was facing. So because of XLOOKUP, this is possible and this has been taken care of. So now let's move to the other thing. Like with VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, this is going to work for XLOOKUP also. XLOOKUP, HLOOKUP. Earlier we used to have the HLOOKUP. So there were 2 formulas earlier, VLOOKUP and one was the HLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP was vertical lookup from left to right and HLOOKUP was horizontal lookup from top to bottom, right? In case like here, I want to find the formula. So here is the HLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP won't work because here I want to find the value of Deepak, which is from top to bottom. So that's why instead of VLOOKUP, I have put the HLOOKUP. So here I have given the C33 range and I have given the 3, that where is the marks. Again, here the problem is if I'm going to have the insert rows. Again, the problem is there because my reference is third row, but it is like now it is moved to the 5th row. Again, here also the same problem. If I'm going to have the marks like some other side, again, this is the same problem. But in case of XLOOKUP, let's see, same thing will work, same formula. It is going to work very good. So let's see XLOOKUP. Again, my lookup value is this one. Now, instead of column, let's give the row number, row name, row reference. So this is the row. And what I want to find out, so this is the marks. Again, I have given same formula and I put enter. So this is giving me correct result. Now, if I'm going to insert row, I'm getting the correct result. If I'm going to put this somewhere else, that is also going to work. So my XLOOKUP is going to work for HLOOKUP. So it is substitute for HLOOKUP also and for VLOOKUP also. So that was the one thing I wanted to show you. Now let's see if I'm going to have the error, like instead of here Aditya, if I am having Vijay. So my database is this result is giving error. So VLOOKUP is also giving error and XLOOKUP is also giving me error. Both as it's giving error. So earlier in my earlier versions with VLOOKUP, if I want to do here suppose sum. So here in sum, because my range is there, so if I put here, it is giving me NA, error only. So how to avoid those errors? So here we used to use if error. So there was a formula if error, and after if error, we used to put the 0. So once we put the 0 and drag it, so now we are getting the correct result. But now we are using 2 formulas. One formula is if error and one formula is VLOOKUP. So this also being taken care by Microsoft with XLOOKUP. So in XLOOKUP, I am having 4th argument. 3 arguments you understood now. Now if I am going to have the 4th argument, so here it is not mandatory. It is like if you want, you can give. So here it is saying if not found. कि अगर मेरे को there is no value, if I am getting error, what do you want? So here I can say that if there is no value, please give me 0 or maybe some other formula or maybe blank or maybe some text we can write here. And I said here, okay, and then again drag it down. So now same formula, single formula, and I can also handle the errors So if error also being taken care by XLOOKUP very well. So there is no need to use VLOOKUP, no need to use HLOOKUP, no need to use if error also. And earlier we used to use this formula index and match when we were having the data from want to look up from right to left. So there was some jugaad. So that jugaad was index match. So there is no need for index match. Directly XLOOKUP is giving us perfectly correct results. So that is the thing. One more thing here, friends. Like with XLOOKUP, this marks, it's not that okay, this should be exactly like corresponding with the name. There may be that these marks control X and I can put these marks here also. Still, I'm getting the correct results. You see, I'm getting the correct results. Let's again give here Hemant. So I'm getting correct results. So my marks is here and my name is here. Still, and even like these marks, I can take and I can put it other seat also. Like if I'm putting it other seat, like what I want to find that is in other seat, still like I'm getting the results. So here I'm saying that my XLOOKUP as here, that is C15 I want to find, and my range, this is the range from where I want to find the name, and this is the result which I want to find. So that was approximate, that is a separate seat. Even separate file can also be there. So even then it is going to work and we are going to get the correct results. So this is the beauty of XLOOKUP. Okay, so there is no need that data should be corresponding to the name. And also let me give some very good this business case for this, like in case of single column, how it is going to work. Like sometimes from some software, if we are going to get data like this, ID, last, first, email and phone. So there are 5 rows. So this is the database and we are having some name that, okay, this is the name that, okay, name, then surname, last name, first name, and then the second record, then the third record, then the fourth record. But for each record, we are having the 5 names. And now, friends, like I want to find out that, okay, I want to make this data like as a tabular form. I want to have, so here like I'm having different IDs. So here in this ID, I want to find. So still like we can use the XLOOKUP here. So just a little like you see the beauty and creativity here. So I have to do XLOOKUP, and in XLOOKUP, I am saying I want to find A10001, right? First argument. And the second argument, I have given the whole range that, okay, this is the whole range which I want to find out. Now, what result I want to find out? Because I want to find out the last name. So just below one row, I am giving from here, and again I have given the range, and one more row I have given because the number of rows should be same. Like here, if I'm selecting 100 rows, so my result area that should also be 100 rows. So that also I have given here that, okay, this is, and here this I can give the F2. So that is.
Sir, till now we are having 2-3 queries. Maybe take those 2-3 queries.
Yeah, so maybe like let me complete this now. So maybe then like I'll take, because right now I'm in between, right? So friends, you see here like I'm getting the result of last name also. So this is the like the code and the single column, and I'm getting. Even like if I want to get the name also, so the same formula which I was having here, Control C, Control V, and here like what I can say, instead of I was saying that B1 to 55, B2. So here I can put B3 to B57, and I'm going to get the name also. So you see that was not possible earlier with the help of VLOOKUP, but with the help of XLOOKUP, with single column, I'm getting the results and I'm getting the name, email, phone number, anything like we can do. So just actually I thought that that's a business case, like I thought such type of data sometimes from software we are getting, and very easily we can convert this data into tabular form. Now let's move to like our this working file again. So that was the VLOOKUP. So now, yes, Mr. Anil, you can tell me what are the questions or results we are getting, or some.
So there were 2-3 questions relating to what you have explained. One
Yes.
member is asking if data is repeating in an array, it will pick first one only.
Yes, yes. It always picks in first value. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
It only picks first value only, na?
Okay. Yeah. But
Okay.
so he wants to pick like all the values, right?
So they are saying something has to be common in both the data.
Yes. So that's why, like, because here, like in case I'm having the Deepak value, that is a 64 marks. But here again, if I'm having Deepak, so but obvious, it is going to like pick only 64 like first value. It is not going to pick 95 value. So how
Yes.
Excel will come to know whether we want to find the second one or third one or fourth one, or whether we want to find all the values of Deepak. So like, but with the help of Microsoft 365, now it is possible that we can find all the values of Deepak. So that is possible. Earlier with VLOOKUP that was not possible. So I'll show you that also. Yes. What is other question?
It means, sir, it means it only allows lookup value to be in the first column only, na? Lookup value in the first column only. It only allows lookup value to be in the first column.
No. Lookup value can be any of the columns. So not the first column. That was the problem in VLOOKUP. But in XLOOKUP, as I showed you, so our like lookup value can be in right side also, like left side also. That's the thing. That's why like we are moving to XLOOKUP or the new version.
And in VLOOKUP, we cannot go from right to left. But
Yes,
in
yes.
VLOOKUP, we cannot go from right to left.
Yes, so that solution I have shown it, because at that
Yes,
time
yes.
I was asking from members like what is their reflection, what were the problems in VLOOKUP. So all those problems, like I'm telling members that okay, with XLOOKUP, all those problems are being taken care of.
Yes, that's why now they have shared. Now one member is again sharing the same problem. That problem with VLOOKUP, it only gives result with exact match and from selected arrays only.
Yes. So with XLOOKUP, like we can take care all these things, right?
And there is no option to pick up left value in the VLOOKUP problem with VLOOKUP. This is the another problem which we have shared. We already explained. There is
Yes,
no
yes.
option to pick up the value in the left option.
Right.
And demerit of VLOOKUP is to move from left to right direction and not from the right to left direction. We have already discussed.
Yeah, okay.
And XLOOKUP hope to give value addition for data analysis, especially GST workings.
Right.
So these feedback they have already shared, sir. Now we can proceed.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir.
So now let's move to the like other thing. Like in VLOOKUP, there was a problem that always it used to give the first value. Like here, like I'm having Deepak, and also like second time I'm having Deepak. So it used to give me the always first value. Like let's take some example of like some like business scenario. Like some like members is there, some name is there, and Mr. Ravi. So he's punching card. So here in this, like when he's punching the card, so on 15th, like so he has like coming to the office and going out to the office, coming like punching the card again, like for lunch he has gone out, then again he has come and gone out. So in case we are going to put the VLOOKUP, so it will always give the first value. But in case I want to find out in time, that okay, what was the in time? In that case, I want to find the first value. But in case of out time I want to find the last value. That what was the last value? That because in 15th of April, this name Ravi, so he punched cards 5 times. That 917, 52, 52, again then 52. So we have to find out that what is the like in time and what is the out time. So that problem also has been taken care by XLOOKUP. So with XLOOKUP, we can find it, we can give by default, it is also going to find the first in, first out, like first value. But in case we tell Excel that we want to find last in, first out, like last value. So last value as a first. So that is also possible. So let's see how it is going to find those things. What change actually we need to do. Let's see. Let's understand that. So here I am saying that okay in time, and that is for 15th April. We want to find out. So here let's see. We are saying that okay equal to X lookup. So in case of X lookup, when I'm going to put the value for 15th of April, so then I am seeing that okay this is my lookup value X lookup. And when I'm saying from where I want to find out, so I'm saying that this you find out from the C column, right? Then I'm saying what result I want to find out. This is the D column which I want to find out. So by default, it is giving me first value 917. Okay, this is the same thing 15th April and out time. How to find out the out time now? So only small change I have to do. Control C, same formula is there. So here friends, what I can give in case of X lookup, I can tell it, okay, one is the if not found, one is match mode, and the last argument is search mode. So in case of search mode, by default, it will find first value. But in case here, if I'm going to give the minus one last in first out. So then I'm going to get the result for, you see, the latest, this value, 15th April, and that is the 5:01:23 p.m. So maybe, yes. So here, because both reports are there, so that's why it is giving for Muri reports. So let's see for Ravi, actually we want to find the first value, and here what I can do, I can also want to put the name and date both. So friends, here I should give with X lookup, I can give G2. I should also concatenate name Ravi and G2, F2 and G2. And in the same way, I want to give here that okay column which I want to find. So I'm saying B, BB and then if I'm going to put, so I'm going to get the 917. Now the same formula I'm going to give here, and here in sixth argument I need to give the sixth argument, I need to give the -1. So now with the combination of Ravi and 15th April, I am going to get the result for the this argument. You see 5:2:21. So here I am getting the result for Ravi for 15th April 5:2:21. And in the same way, if I want to find for the Mayuri also, so the same formula I have to drag here and I can find the value for Mayuri also. So here, like if I go here, Mayuri 15th April 97 and 15th April, that is 5:01:23. So I am getting the result. In case if I am going to change the date 16th April, so my result is also going to change. So here you see for 16th April for Ravi, I am getting 916 and out time for 16th April, I am getting the 50. So that's the beauty, like with the help of XLOOKUP friends, we can find top to bottom, like first value, which was the case with VLOOKUP. But here we can also find the last value also. So it is like helpful sometimes when we are purchasing materials, like many times. So maybe we are purchasing like 1 week before also, 2 days before also, and today also. And we want to see what is the last purchase price. So that is also, that's very, very great. Like this new things actually we got with XLOOKUP. So this is the thing which I want to show you. And this was the business example, business case which I want to share with you. In the same way, like I can also have that, okay, in case of some software, I'm getting some result that, okay, different like employees are there. And we are having employee ID also. Date of joining is also there. Then what was the salary at the time of joining? And what was the change of salary? Then he got some increments, like after 1 increment, 2 increments, 3rd increment. So here we can find out what was the his join salary and what was the month of joining, and what was the last revision, which was the last revision. So maybe if a person is having 5 entries, 7 entries, so we can find the last revision and the month also. So with the help of VLOOKUP, that is possible. Now let's take one more example here. In case I want to find the full record, so how to find the full record? So that is also possible. So here, like I am having right now, let's see this, and I want to find out single formula I am going to give, and I want to find all the results. So how with the help of XLOOKUP that is possible? Let's see. So here I am going to see XLOOKUP is there. I am giving that okay. This is the lookup value. So friends, I was telling that okay, with single formula in Microsoft 365, it is possible that we are giving formula at one place, but we are getting results for all the columns. So here I am saying that okay, here instead of one column, I have given 4 columns. And after that, if I am going to put enter, so automatically I am getting results for all. So I have given formula in J10 only, but here also automatically I am getting the results. First name, email, everything, like I'm getting the results. So that's the beauty. But here in case of VLOOKUP, earlier when I was giving this formula, comma, and then I was giving this was the range. So here I used to give the 2 and then 0. So this was giving me first result. So it is not that okay, I can drag and the same formula will work. So again, I used to give the same formula, and here I used to change instead of 2 to 3. Then I will use to get the result. But here you see only single formula I have given in single cell, and I am getting result for all the 4 columns, all the 4 cells. And that also like is true with the multiple cells also. Like here in XLOOKUP, like if I am going to have formula XLOOKUP, and I can give range of all these 3, right? Then if I am going to say that okay, this is the lookup value and this is the result value, there is no need to dollar also. And if I'm going to put enter, I'm going to get all the results, all the 3 results I'm getting here. Single formula I have given, automatically it is getting the result, giving the results. And even if I'm going to insert some rows, like let's see if I'm going to insert result and I'm saying Vinay, Hemant, still I'm getting the results. But you see in VLOOKUP, again I have to give the separately like the formula. But here single formula is there and it is giving us the results. So that's the thing. Approximate match. So this is the also like thing like approximate match also we can do. This is very, very good in like VLOOKUP also it was possible, and in XLOOKUP it is also possible. But in XLOOKUP this is more powerful. So sometimes like we are having some range, like in case of income tax slab is there, that like from 5 lakhs, like this is the tax rate. After that, this is the tax rate. So here, like let's see, we are having different category and different commissions we are paying. So we are saying our sales amount is 0 to 1000. There is no commission. But if sale amount is 1000 to 2500, 20 rupees is the commission. 2500 to 7000, this is the commission. So this is the slab, and I'm saying that okay, this 9425 is the sale value. What will be the commission value here? So here, like if I am going to use the VLOOKUP, so this is the thing I want to find out. And if I'm going to give that okay, this is the table like 0 to 0, 0 to 1000, then I have to give that okay, first column, second column, third column. So I need the third column, and then I'm saying 0. 0 is the approximate match, exact match. So then it is going to give me the errors. But if I'm going to give here 2500, I'm going to get the correct commission. But my case is I want to find out the 9425. So here earlier we used to have the instead of 0, if I'm going to put 1, so then it is going to give me the approximate value, in between value. So it is giving me that okay, for 9425 between 7000 to 10,000, the commission is 250. So that like results I'm going to get that, okay, this is 700, this is 20. So you see, automatically I'm getting the results. 1100, I'm having 20 rupees. But in case, like I say that, okay, instead of 1000, my range is 1500. So I'm saying that 1500 to 2500 is 20. So here in 1100, I'm getting the 0. But here, in case if I say that 1980, so I'm getting the 20 rupees. So this is the commission I'm getting. This was possible in VLOOKUP. But in VLOOKUP, one big problem was my data should have been sorted order. Like in case, like I want to use this approximate wedge, if I want to find out the one, then my data should have been sorted. Like this data should be sorted, right? So then only VLOOKUP will work. But in case of XLOOKUP, that problem has gone away. Like in case VLOOKUP, like you see, this data is not sorted, like 1500, 7000, 2500, 0, 10,000. So it is not going to give me the correct results. But in XLOOKUP, you see, I am getting the correct results. So even the data is not sorted. So that's the thing like we can do here. Are you getting my points, friends? So here, like the data in VLOOKUP, it is giving me incorrect results. So this data, like this sale amount, I am changing like different like sale amount, different like sorting order I am doing. So in this order, you see like my correct result, like if that is in sorted order. So if VLOOKUP, like this is not giving correct result, but XLOOKUP, it is giving correct result. The data is same. This is the data, and here also the data is same. So now you see the difference that how VLOOKUP is like giving me, VLOOKUP was the problem, but XLOOKUP is not a problem. So with slabs, without sorting the data, we can get the results with the help of XLOOKUP. The only thing in case of XLOOKUP here, the argument match mode, we have to give -1. Otherwise, by default, if you are not giving the match mode, then it will do the exact match. So if it will, if -1, if I'm not giving, so then it is going to find out the 9425. If that will find out here, then it will give results. Suppose if I'm giving here 9425, then I'm going to get the result here. So for doing that, the fifth argument, I have to change to -1. That is the match mode. Like one was the search mode. You can use like whether you want to find top to bottom or bottom to top. So in the same way, there is a match mode. So by default, it is going to find exact match. But if you want to make it like approximate match for the slabs, then you can work and -1 you can give. So these are the things actually I wanted to share with you. Like this is the VLOOKUP and this is the XLOOKUP. So I'm sure that you have like understood that XLOOKUP is very powerful. All the problems of VLOOKUP has been taken care, and there are a lot of new things like because of time constraint, like it is not that okay, all those things like trimming earlier, like for doing trimming or like two-way lookup, like so we used to have the column, like we want to find out something that okay, some results I want to find based on Ranjana and CA. So I need to make some helper column, but with the XLOOKUP, there is no need for this helper column also. Directly, like with XLOOKUP, I can connect and I can find the result. So that is possible. But in case here, if no helper column is not there, so this is the result for VLOOKUP and this is the result for XLOOKUP. So that is also possible. So there are a lot of things like we can do two-way lookup also. If we want to find out the name also and the Jan, Feb month also, those things also we can find out, because VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP is going to work as a VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, vertically also, horizontally also. So we can do the combination of both and we can find the value. One was the duplicate value. In case we are having multiple values like duplicates we are having. So how to find out those things? Like I am having Sarika 3 times and I want to find out these like number of Sarika. So how to find out like multiple times? So that is also possible with the help of like VLOOKUP. So this is my database. by default, in case whether I'm going to use XLOOKUP, I'm going to put that I want to find out, like, for the name is Sarika, and I want to find out the number. So here I'll give with XLOOKUP that, okay, Sarika name is there. If I'm going to find, this is the value I want to find out. And here I'm giving, these are the results I want to find out. So it is getting me only one result, first result. But there is an alternate which is part of Microsoft 365. There is one new formula, and the formula is filter. This filter formula is also going to work as a XLOOKUP, but it can give you multiple values. How this is going to work? So let's see. This was the this. So let's see XLOOK filter. I am going to put filter. I am saying from where I want to filter, what value I want to find, these value I want to find. And what is the condition? This should be equal to Sarika. And if I'm going to put here, so I'm getting all the results, like 3 phone numbers I'm getting. Instead of Sarika, if I'm going to put here Vijay, so I'm getting 2 results. Automatically it is giving me results. So like that, I can find out the multiple results, multiple like values we can find out. And here, like if say Amit, so here Amit, like I'm having only one number, but here I can find out the multiple results I can find out. So here, like my number can be A1, and this is the numbers you see, A2, A2, A4, A9. I'm getting the results like for Amit. And if I'm going to put Amit some more times, so you see Amit, I'm getting A2, A3, A4, A5, A9. And even there is one more formula that we want to connect everything. So there is a great formula, and that is text join. So I want to join with the help of text join. So the same thing we can join also. So here I'm saying that, okay, whatever we have like filtered out, and there we want to join. So this is the text join formula, and we can find the value of here. And if like the same way, if I'm going to drag the formula, so it is going to give me the result for the drag cell also. Like here, I have to make this one filter and this also. So here, if I'm going to drag it, so I'm going to get the result for A1 and A8. So these are the new formulas, Microsoft 365 formulas. So with the help of filter, like whatever was the problem, like multiple results we used to have, so those results we can get with the help of filter formula. So that is also substitute of XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP we can say. So I hope like you understood that, okay, XLOOKUP is very powerful formula, and it is going to be very, very helpful in our day-to-day working. It is going to save a lot of time. If you have any questions, so please you can write, and maybe I can take some questions, because we are having the second session also. Second speaker also is going to give you like lot of like new knowledge. So please let me know any questions, Anilji, we are having.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are having 2-3 questions.
Yes, sir.
One question is, which version of Excel having XLOOKUP facility? Can we have it at our current version of 2016?
No, that is not possible. This is going to have only and only Microsoft 365 or Office 365. This is the only version. Even 2019, that will not work. Like it is going to work only in Microsoft 365. If you are having 2007, 10, 13, 16 or 19, it is not going to work. All these versions, XLOOKUP at least will not work.
Another question is whether any formula differentiate between capital and small letters?
No, like VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, like both these formulas, like they are not going to like consider whether that is capital letters or small letters. But yes, there are jugaad, there are ways that we can do some like capital letters or small letter searching also. But by default, it is going to search. Like here, I'm searching here that, okay, Amit, whether I'm putting Amit in small even then I'm going to get the results. Here it can be capital letters or small letters.
Or smaller, both. Another is XLOOKUP works only Windows 365 or other versions, Windows 16, we have already covered just now.
Yes, we have covered.
We have just covered. Sir, is it better to make pivot table before applying the lookup?
No, but it depends on our requirement. So whether pivot table is altogether different concept. So in case of pivot table, if we are having some database, so for that database doing some analysis, we need the pivot table. So in pivot table, we can play the things, we can have the like month-wise reporting, we can have the like region-wise reporting, we can make some slicers, we can make charts, so all those things. But in case database, so for database actually we need the like formulas and all those things. So it depends, like I can't say that, okay, before pivot whether we should apply or not. If there is requirement, we should apply. If there is no requirement, no need.
No need. What if we want to get all the values against one lookup value?
Yes, I covered it. So in case of one lookup value, like we are having same one lookup value is Amit, and we want to find all the values. So that is also possible. We have covered already.
So these all were the questions, sir. And thank you so much, sir, for
and also like
deliberation,
in case if you are
yes,
having
sir,
any other questions, so this is my WhatsApp mobile number, and maybe you can write a WhatsApp like chat, so we can also add you in our like this Excel like chat box, Excel group also. There you can ask question and you can find the answer. In case you are going to have any query, so you can like share on info@champexcel.com. This is our website, champexcel.com, and YouTube channel. Already, like Anilji told you, that if you are going to type in Google Champ Excel, there also we are sharing lot of knowledge on Excel. So you can connect on our YouTube channel, on website, and through WhatsApp number also. This is the WhatsApp number. So your all questions are welcome. Any questions like you are having for database, some problem, so please get in touch with me, and definitely I would love to answer.
if we will receive the questions also, I will also forward to you, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for wonderful deliberation. On behalf of CMP of ICAI, I extend my heartiest thanks for the wonderful deliberation and sparing your precious time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we are having with us our another guest speaker, Advocate Shobik Gupta ji. Welcome you, Shobik ji, once again. And this time we will start our next technical session. And that technical session is power of DGGI to undertake proceedings in GST and arrest and prosecutions under GST. In order to tackle with this topic, we are having with us the eminent speaker. So the platform is all yours, Shobik sir. So may I request Shobik sir to please start your deliberation, sir. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, friends. This current session is on the topic of the powers of the Directorate General of GST Intelligence, because with these days a lot of show cause notices and investigations are happening, and a lot of these proceedings are undertaken by DGGSTI. So I was curious to explore the powers which they have under the GST Act, because I wanted to, just understand whether they have the jurisdiction to take all these proceedings or not. And in this particular talk, I'm just exploring my research and discussing those points. So DGGSTI was earlier known as Directorate General of Central Excise Intelligence till 12th June 2017. And from that day, the name was renamed as DGGSTI, or Directorate General of GST Intelligence. So that was one fact. Now, the powers and the duties of the DGGSTI are primarily to collect the intelligence, collate the intelligence, and disseminate the collected intelligence or collected intelligence to the designated officers or the field officers of GST department, be it the central GST department officers or the state GST department officers. So they have the power to even share the information which they have collected with the state GST authorities as well. So they also, along with that, they also understand the various modalities of GST evasion, and they also develop the alert mechanism to alert the GST field officers about the new and evolving modalities of GST evasion. Now, another duty and power which is there with DGGSTI is the supplement, that they supplement and coordinate with the field GST officers in case of tax investigation involving multiple commissionerates. So if there are a wide network of GST evaders or persons who are evading GST, and they are spread across various commissionerates, then it is the DGGSTI which comes into action and which coordinates with various commissionerates who are involved with the investigation, collection of information, and taking the necessary legal measures. So that is one of their job. And then the most important job is to investigate the offenses related to GST evasion. And their jurisdiction is pan-India as far as investigation and collection of information is concerned. So that is with the powers and the duties of the officers of GSTI. Now, a scheme of we have understood the powers and duties of the DGGSTI. The scheme of assignment of functions or the powers under the CGST IGST Act is also one of the very important area, because the duties and the powers which are granted to the investigating agency, which is DGGSTI, has to also go along with the enabling provisions under the CGST Act. So the mechanism or the scheme of assignment of power to the officers under the CGST Act is such that a statutory power to be exercised under the Act needs to be performed by the proper officer. So most of the functions or the statutory powers to be exercised by the officers under the Act are allocated actually to the proper officers. Now this term, the proper officer, is the most significant term, and it has been mentioned all across the CGST Act, which is also applicable to the IGST Act by virtue of Section 20 of the CGST Act, read with the Section 20 of the IGST Act. So once we apply the provisions of CGST Act to the IGST Act, which is applicable to the transactions of interstate and intrastate supplies, then the proper officer who is enabled under the CGST Act is also empowered to undertake the proceedings under the IGST Act. So the specific officer under the proper officer or the scheme of devolvement of power under the CGST and IGST Act, a specific officer is assigned to the proper officer to perform a statutory action under the CGST Act. So, for example, I have also given an example of Section 61, subsection 1, which is the power to scrutinize the returns. This power has been specifically given to the superintendent of the central GST or central tax. So superintendent can undertake the scrutiny of returns and can take necessary action as are provided under the CGST Act. So superintendent is the proper officer. I will later on in the presentation, I refer to the specific circulars which have enabled and empowered the various officers. So there is a definition of proper officer as well under section 2 subsection 91, which reads as, in relation to any function to be performed under this act, means the commissioner or the officer of the central tax who is assigned that function by the commissioner in the board. So there is this proper officer who, in relation to any function to be performed under the CGST Act, is that the commissioner or the officer of the central tax who is assigned that function by the commissioner in the board. So commissioner in the board, that is commissioner in the CBIC, is the person who designates or assigns the functions to be performed under the act either to the commissioner or to any other officer under the Central Tax Act or Central GST Act. So scheme is that any officer who has to perform any function under any particular statute of the CGST Act. I've read the example of scrutiny of returns under section 61 subsection 1 by the superintendent. So that is one of the function of scrutiny of returns provided under CGST Act to be performed by the superintendent, because superintendent has been designated or assigned as the proper officer under the CGST Act. Now, why I am repeating the specific expression proper officer? Because it has a very significant role to play when the very basis of jurisdictional challenges have to be invoked. So, for example, some proceeding has been undertaken and jurisdictional challenge to those proceedings hits at the very root of those proceedings and makes those proceedings beyond the statutory powers if the officer initiating the proceedings lacks the jurisdiction. So therefore, it becomes very prominent and significant to check the jurisdictional authority of the officer initiating the proceedings under the CGST Act, and which is why we are referring to the definition of proper officer and the transfer or the granting of powers to various different central tax officers under the different statutory provisions of the CGST Act. So here we have seen that specific officers have to be granted specific powers provided under CGST Act provisions. Now, I'm referring here to the specific circulars. By way of these circulars, the powers have been granted to the proper officers and specific powers have been granted. For example, Circular 1 of 2017, dated 26 June 2017, designates the proper officers for provisions relating to registration and composition levy. So, this circular designates the proper officers for the specific function of registration and composition levy and not for other functions. So, one thing which is very evident from a reading of these circulars, or this circular in particular, that the proper officers who are appointed for the purpose of registration and composition levy, they cannot exercise any other power unless that power has been specifically assigned to them, specifically under the CGST Act. Now coming to the second circular, circular number 3, dated 3/3/2017, dated 5th July 2017. This circular assigns functions or powers as proper officers under specific provisions of CGST Act relating to designation of officers for provisions other than registration and composition levy. So this particular circular assigns powers to specific designations of central tax officers to exercise powers under specific statutory provisions under CGST Act relating to other provisions other than registration and composition levy, because that has already been handled and taken care of by circular number 1 of 2017 dated 26 June 17. So another circular is there which is a circular number 9 dated 18th October 2017. It assigns the proper officer for enrolling or rejecting application for GST practitioners. Now, by virtue of circular number 31 dated 9th February 2018, the superintendents are designated as proper officer under section 73 and 74 and under the IGST Act, and power is also assigned basis the pecuniary jurisdiction. Pecuniary jurisdiction is the jurisdiction basis the quantum of tax involved. For example, superintendents have the power to issue the show cause notice and adjudicate the show cause notices for involving the quantum of tax up to 10 lakh rupees and not exceeding 10 lakh rupees. So where the quantum of tax is up to 10 lakh rupees, the superintendents of central tax are empowered to undertake the proceedings, issue the show cause notice, and adjudicate the show cause notices as well under section 73 and 74. So this circular designates the proper officers as superintendents and also defines or limits the pecuniary jurisdiction to rupees 10 lakh. So up to rupees 10 lakh, superintendents can issue show cause notice under section 73, which is the non-payment, short payment of GST due to reasons other than evasion of taxes. Under section 74, the power is to issue show cause notices by proper officer due to short payment of tax owing to evasion of tax. So in both these provisions, under both these provisions, superintendents are proper officers for issuance of show cause notice and for adjudication of show cause notices involving tax up to rupees 10 lakh rupees, because that is the pecuniary jurisdiction of superintendents. So what we can ascertain from these circulars is that specific statutory provisions grant specific powers to specific set of central tax officers to undertake specific functions and exercise specific powers under the CGST Act or central tax. Why I am using the term specific and proper is that these are almost interchangeable, but the expression the proper officer is the most significant expression because it has been interpreted as well in a very particular manner by the Honorable Supreme Court recently, which I will refer to later on. So one thing which is also evident that all the central tax officers do not and cannot exercise all the powers under the CGST Act. There are specific central tax officers who are assigned specific functions, and only those officers assigned with the specific functions, being by virtue of being the proper officers, they can undertake these proceedings for which they are empowered under the Act. If any officer is acting, not as per the statutory scheme of assignment of the proper officer, in which case there is a lack of jurisdiction and the jurisdiction can be challenged. There is a ground to challenge the exercise of power. In that circumstance, which is the lack of jurisdictional power. Now, I'm just summarizing that under the provisions of the Act, it is necessary, and I'm reiterating that specific officers are allocated the specific statutory power, the proper officer, to enable them to exercise that power or perform that function so allocated to them by the commissioner in the board as authorized by the CGST Act. In case the necessary allocation of power as proper officer to the designated set of officer is absent, the power may not be validly granted under the Act. Thus, a specific power is not a power to be exercised generally by any and all officers of the central tax. So, which was what I was saying earlier, that if merely by designated and providing that all the central tax officers are empowered to exercise all the powers under the Central Tax Act, one cannot, or even the board cannot authorize or provide for such scheme of assignment of powers, because that will make the definition of proper officer nugatory, or just superfluous, or a non-applicable provision of law. It will be a dead letter, as we call it, because section 2 subsection 91, which is the definition of proper officer, will become superfluous or just a waste. It will become non-est. So that cannot be that interpretation which negatives or which makes the provisions nugatory or non-workable or superfluous. That interpretation must be avoided, because we have to also understand that all the provisions which are there in the statutory book have been enacted with a particular purpose by the legislature, and legislature does not waste any words. So that is one of the very basic canons of interpretation of law. So therefore, all and sundry, all the officers of the central tax cannot claim to exercise all the powers of the central tax. So only the proper officers who are designated so can perform a particular function provided under the Act, and when they are authorized to perform that function under that Act in respect of that particular statutory provision. As an example, I've already read that, for example, superintendents are authorized to scrutinize the returns, and they can also issue show cause notice and adjudicate under section 73 and 74. So that is one of the example. Now, similar scheme of allocation of statutory powers is also provided under the Customs Act 1962. Under scrutiny or review by the Honorable Supreme Court in a recent case of Messrs. Canon India. There the question was with respect of jurisdiction of the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. Supreme Court in that decision analyzed the scheme of Customs Act and the provisions assigning powers of the proper officer to the DRI officers or Directorate of Revenue Intelligence officers under the Customs Act. After analyzing, the Supreme Court held that officers of DRI are not the proper officers under the Customs Act 1962. Therefore, they lack the jurisdiction to undertake proceedings under the Customs Act 1962. So that was on the basis of the principle that lack of jurisdiction goes to the very root of proceedings, of legal proceedings, be it any act, be it Customs Act, be it CGST Act, be it Service Tax or Excise, any act. If there is a lack of jurisdiction, then there is an inherent lack in undertaking the proceedings against any person in that officer, if that officer or the set of officers or the department lacks the power to undertake the proceedings. Now, this leaves us still with a few points to ponder. Now, the point is that it is whether the officers of DGGSTI are assigned allocated statutory powers of specific provisions as proper officer under the CGST Act, which is not yet clear and is not forthcoming as well from the circulars or the notifications. So that question still remains as to whether any specific, assignment has been granted to them or not. The only thing which was found in Circular 31/5 of 2018, dated 9th February 2018, wherein in para 6 it mentions that DGGSTI can issue show cause notice, but it does not say anything beyond. It says that adjudication of show cause notice issued by DGGSTI will be done by the jurisdictional GST officer or the proper officer of the central tax. So I am curious and still wondering as to whether the DGGSTI have the jurisdiction to issue the show cause notice or undertake the proceedings, because that is yet open, and a clarity on this aspect would be a welcome step, either by the board or by the courts. So as per the judicial decisions of the Honorable Supreme Court, the power to be exercised by an authority must be validly granted under the scheme of enactment. An improper granting of power leads to lack of grant of power to be exercised by the authority, which may lead to lack of jurisdiction in the authority. So that is the crux of the discussion on this topic, that if the granting of power itself suffers from any infirmity or there is a improper granting of power to any authority under any act, then the jurisdiction itself is vitiated and there is a clear lack of jurisdiction. And we should look for, if we are undertaking any proceeding, or if we are replying, or if we are attending the proceedings before the officers, then in that case we must be looking at the jurisdictional aspect. So I'll take now to the next topic. I end this topic here with this conclusion that it is still unclear as to whether there is any valid power granted to the DGGSTI officers. With this, I'll take you to the next topic of the discussion. Now, the next topic is inspection, search, and seizure. So, proper officer with respect to this is the Joint Commissioner or above, who can, authorize any officer to undertake the inspection, search, and seizure proceedings. Issuance of summon to a person by a proper officer is provided under Section 70 of the CGST Act. And arrest, which is although undertaken in extreme cases, but arrest is provided under Section 69 of the CGST Act. The proceedings under the CGST Act may begin with inspection, search and seizure under Section 67, issuance of summon to a person by proper officer under Section 70, or in extreme cases, although it is very rare, but arrests also happen. So that can happen also as provided under Section 69 of the CGST Act. So under Section 67, the provision provides for inspection, search and seizure. So as I said, stated earlier, that proper officer is Joint Commissioner and above, and he may authorize in writing that any officer of central tax can inspect any place of business of the taxable persons or the persons engaged in the business of transporting goods, warehousing goods, or any other place. And this authorization is carried in pursuance to formation of reasons to believe that any goods liable to confiscation or any documents or books or things which in his opinion, his opinion is the opinion of the proper officer, and his opinion shall be useful. In his opinion, these documents or books or things are secreted at these places of that taxable person, either his business premise or the good transportation or goods being warehoused or any other place, which in the opinion of this proper officers are useful or relevant for any proceedings under the Act. Then in that situation, he may authorize any other officer to search and seize, and may himself search and seize such goods, documents, books or things. So he can either authorize another officer to inspect, and in case he is of the belief that the goods or the books of accounts or any other things related to a person suspected of a wrongdoing, a taxable person or any other person as well. It's a very broad power. So Joint Commissioner is the proper officer, and in his opinion, he can first of all allow any other central tax officers to inspect a particular premise or search the premise and seize the goods or the books of accounts, documents or things which are found at or which are secreted at these premises. So these are very broad. One thing which we must take note of is that there is a lot of jurisprudence available on the aspect of reasons to believe and the formation of reasons to believe, and which is why he has to authorize the officer in writing. So he may not indicate the reasons to believe in writing, but he will definitely authorize the officer in writing, and later on his action may be scrutinized on the basis and on the anvil that whether there were reasons to believe with him or not at the time when he authorized the other officers to undertake the search, inspection and seizure proceedings. So that is one aspect of Section 67 which we need to be mindful of. The next provision under which the proceedings can be initiated is Section 70, which is very important and a little feared as well, because it talks about summon. Here under this provision, proper officer can summon a person whose presence is considered necessary by the officer to give evidence. Now here it is very important to just focus on the expressions used. Whose presence is considered necessary by the officer to give evidence. Now this cannot be the subjective opinion of the proper officer that he can summon anybody and everybody to give evidence. He must consider the presence of the other person whom he is summoning as necessary to give evidence, produce document, or any other thing in respect of any inquiry that proper officer is undertaking at that time. But the powers are very wide, nevertheless, and the proper officer can summon any person in any inquiry in the same manner as provided for a civil code under Civil Procedure Code. And such inquiry is deemed to be a judicial proceeding under section 193 and 228 of Indian Penal Code. Now, these two provisions are also very significant to note because section 193 provides for punishment for false evidence and section 228 of IPC provides for intentional insult or interruption to public servant sitting in judicial proceeding. So these are the offenses which will be deemed to be committed by a person who is either giving a false evidence or is either intentionally insulting or interrupting the public servant who is undertaking the proceedings under summon or who has summoned somebody. So we must be mindful of the fact that under all circumstances we must cooperate with the authorities who is undertaking the summon proceedings. And if somebody is summoned, later on we can challenge as to whether there were enough reasons for production of evidence or production of document or any other thing in the opinion of the officer who has summoned. But at that time, when the person is summoned, we should not never give false evidence or do any insulting gesture or insulting act to the public servant who is undertaking the proceedings under section 70. Now moving on to the another prominent section, which is section 69, and this in the beginning of the GST regime and even till now has been exercised profusely in so many cases, and especially considering the quantum of tax, when in some cases exceeds 5 crore rupees, the provisions become more drastic to the arrested persons or accused. Section 69 provides for arrest, and under section 69 officers are empowered to arrest persons accused of offences specified under clause A, B, C or D. These clauses are also reproduced here for the benefit of discussion of section 132(1). Now, which is the punishment for these offences is provided under subsection 1 of section 2 of section 132. Section 132 stipulates that specified offences involving tax evasion in excess of rupees 5 crore are cognizable and non-bailable, and that officials can proceed with arrest as per the procedure laid down under section 69 in those cases. Now I will read the subclauses A, B, C and D of section 132(1). So clause A is supply without invoice in violation of provisions of the Act or the rules with the intention to evade tax. Here it is very important to note that supply without invoice may be in violation of provisions of the Act or the rules, but the most important fact is that there should be also, this act must also be coupled with the intention to evade tax, because ultimately section 69 is for arrest. and it is for a criminal offense. And criminal offense cannot be without mens rea, or the culpable state of mind, or the blameworthy state of mind. Because for any offense, we must also have the blameworthy state of mind, the intention, the wrongful or the wrong intention to commit that act. So, which is why it is very important to note that there should be intention to evade tax along with the act of supply without invoice in violation of the provisions of the act or rules. Later on, I will also focus on the part of intention, how it's done away with, and why, which is one of the reason why the class of offences involving quantum of tax evasion of 5 crore or more uh, to be almost akin to the preventive detention laws. So these provisions are almost similar. If the quantum of tax evasion is more than 5 crores, then these are almost in the class of preventive detention laws like POTA or UAPA, etc. Because the possibility of getting bail is very slim. And given the fact that these are economic offenses, the courts are even more worried to grant bail in these matters. So we have to be mindful that, and one more peculiar thing behind these arrests and non-granting of bail is that the accused persons may not have much of defense, because department may go ahead and club the quantum of tax, so that the quantum of tax becomes very huge, because there may be a chain of transactions involved, and few of them may be genuine transactions as well. Because of the few non-genuine or fake transactions or evasive transactions, the whole chain becomes vitiated, and the liability falls on whoever is arrested. Liability falls on those persons, and then because of the clubbing of the quantum or accumulation of quantum of taxes, this 5 crore limit is breached and the offense becomes non-bailable and cognizable, which becomes even more problematic, because the courts, when they look at the quantum of tax evasion involved, they are wary of granting bail to the person, even though in many genuine cases as well, there have been instances the granting of chances of bail are very, very less, given the fact, especially considering the fact that these are economic offenses. So the first was supply without invoice in violation of provisions of the Act or the rules with the intention to evade tax. The clause B of section 132(1) is issuance of invoice or bill without supply in violation of provisions of the Act or the rules leading to wrongful availment or utilization of ITC or refund of tax. So this is clause B. This basically is the issuance of invoice without supply. So paper only transactions or invoice only transactions are covered under clause B. Clause C is availing ITC using such invoice or bill referred to in clause B, or fraudulently availing a ITC without invoice or bill. So these are the offences covered under clause C, wherein ITC is availed using the invoices, which are paper only transactions or paper only invoices without underlying supply, or the ITC is availed fraudulently without invoice or bill, which is clause C of 132(1). Clause D is the failure to pay the amount collected as a tax with government beyond 3 months from the due date of payment. Now, this is also one of the problematic area, because uh, even prior to onset of GST, under this a similar provision and a similar interpretation, wherein the authorities were of the view that since service tax was already included in the value of service, and because it was already included in the value of service, that service tax was not deposited with the government, and therefore the person was accused of evasion of service tax and was arrested, and he was one of from the management of the entity which was involved. But later on, courts came to the rescue and said that such drastic step of arrest of person wherein he might not even be aware as to what has happened based on a particular interpretation of tax authorities was wrongful and was an extreme step. So there were certain safeguards also indicated in by the courts against the arrest, against such particular arrest or wrongful detention of persons under the uh, previous tax law, which was this Finance Act 1994. But under Section 69 of the CGST Act, there is no safeguard provided. So once the quantum of tax evasion is more than 5 crore rupees, there are very few chances of the person avoiding or evading arrest, because that offense itself is cognizable and non-bailable. So cognizable offenses are defined under Section 2, Clause C of Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 or CRPC, meaning an offense for which a police officer may, in accordance with the first schedule or under any other law for the time being in force, can arrest a person without warrant. So a warrant will not be necessary for a police officer to arrest any person accused of cognizable offense. So in our case, if a person is accused of evasion of tax, quantum of which is more than 5 crore rupees, he may be arrested without warrant. And this offense is non-bailable as well. So non-bailable offenses are defined under Section 2, Clause A of CRPC, meaning an offense which is shown as bailable in the first schedule or which is made bailable by any other law for the time being in force. And non-bailable offense means any other offense. So only offenses which are shown as bailable in the first schedule are bailable. All other offenses are non-bailable. So that offense of evasion of CGST or GST of more than 5 crore rupees is a cognizable and non-bailable, meaning there is no necessity of obtaining any warrant for arrest of any person accused of evasion of tax of more than 5 crore rupees, and the bail will ordinarily be granted by a magistrate and not by the police officer or the officials of the CGST Act. Now, as I have read earlier, the various clauses which constitute the specified offences, and what makes these offences more stringent is that Section 135 of CGST Act presumes the culpable intention, and burden is on the accused to establish the absence of such intention beyond reasonable doubt. Now, this Section 135 reverses the whole principle of criminal procedure of assumption of innocence until proven guilty, that too beyond reasonable doubt. This whole assumption of criminal procedure has been turned over by this Section 135. Now, any person who is accused of evading taxes of more than rupees 5 crores cannot take defense under the criminal procedure principle which is the foundational principle, which says that uh, a person is considered or deemed innocent unless proven otherwise, that too beyond reasonable doubt. By virtue of section 135, the culpable or blameworthy mental state or wrongful intention or mens rea of commission of offences is presumed, and that person who is accused of such an offence has to disprove this assumption beyond reasonable doubt to the court, which is a onerous burden upon a person who is being accused of such an offence. And this kind of assumption of guilt is there in the preventive detention laws, such as POTA, UAPA, or TADA, etc. These were the laws, or these are, for example, UAPA is still there. So these are the laws, and which some of which were there in past as well. The accused person was adduced, or he was imputed with the wrongful or mens rea or wrongful intention from the very beginning itself. And he was required to show that, to establish beyond reasonable doubt to the courts that such wrongful intention which is imputed to him was not there. He did not possess guilty mind, which is an onerous burden to say. And that too, in a tax law, it's a little more harsh and extreme, in my personal opinion. But in any case, that such provisions are there. And although government promised that such extreme provisions would not be there and regime would be taxpayer friendly, but I don't know, given the fact that there have been cases and instances of evasion as contemplated under the Act have been happening since the very inception of the GST law. Some of the apprehensions of the government behind introduction and enactment of these provisions have proven true as well. So their apprehension is not entirely misplaced, but there is a very likelihood of abuse of these provisions, which is from a human rights perspective and fundamental rights perspective is problematic. And we must be watchful of such abuse. The other aspect which I have also highlighted is the lack of adequate safeguards the provisions for arrest. So as we have read section 69, read with section 132 and 135, there is no safeguard at all. There is no mention of any safeguard or any rights of the person accused and arrested for the offences specified under section 132(1), which is problematic again because the law does not take care of the rights of the person who is getting arrested. And the statement given by the accused person can be treated as relevant by the court. Now, this is another problem because usually under the Evidence Act, the statement given to the police officer is not considered relevant. So what can be proved by evidence, by the authorities, by the police, is in the court of law, is considered as relevant by the court of law, and any statement given to a police officer is not considered as relevant under the Evidence Act. But such a safeguard is not applicable in case of tax laws, which has been clarified recently by Supreme Court as well. So that is another watchful area which needs to be taken care of. And if any person is accused or is wary of getting arrested, he should definitely consult advocate or a lawyer or a legal consultant to safeguard his interest and to see what is the best possible defense which is allowed by the law, both by the CGST Act as well as under the general criminal laws. What is the best defense available? So with this, I end this session. Any questions would be welcome on this.
Thank you so much, sir. Shobhik sir, thank you so much for such wonderful deliberation and knowledgeable deliberation. Frankly speaking, I have gained a lot through your deliberation and hope our members have also gained a lot through your deliberation. So on behalf of CMP of ICAI, I extend my heartiest thanks for sparing your valuable time and enlighten all of us on various intricacies and about the topic. So we have gained a lot, and definitely due to the technical glitch, we haven't received any question till now. But definitely we will get it through to the technical team, and I will share with you through the email, and hope you will revert on those queries. I will forward it to you through email, and as soon as I will receive from you the revert on your queries, I will forward to the members, sir.
Thank you, sir. It will be an honor and a pleasure, sir. I will revert.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.